What's up, everybody? Jay here. Today we got a special guest, Derek. I'm not going to say your last name because I don't want to butcher it. I forgot to ask before the stream.
No
But
worries,
this
man.
week we're going to break down. He's bought a bunch of orphan teams, and we're going to break his team down and things like that. Derek, go ahead and just talk to me. Kind of, what do you like about the buying and selling process right now?
Hey, what's up, Jay? Yeah, it's pretty cool because you can get a lot done at once. You can uh, get to pick and choose. Seeing each one of the teams, what they have. If it's going to be a project to go ahead and start from scratch, or if you can be like, okay, that's a contending team, I'll buy that. And my thought process was I'm going to buy a few of them and just get to know as many folks on there and improve each one of the teams.
Nice, nice. So you've bought what, 7 orphan teams you said so far?
Yeah, I bought 7 orphan teams.
Nice, that's
Yeah,
good. You think this is going to be like a aspect of Dynasty Owner that's going to draw new customers in that normally probably wouldn't come, but the buying and selling aspect kind of draws them to it a little bit?
man. I, I like to look at things always from a business perspective as well. And man, I see this as a big hit. I mean, these teams, if you don't get them within like 5-10 minutes, especially the ones with 600 or with a buy-in, they go quick, no matter
Yeah.
how gutted they are. I saw a team yesterday with only AJ Brown on it, and it had no names on it, and it still sold, um, you know, uh, really fast. So I can see this being a big thing and allowing folks to, you know, get scratch the itch during the off season, build a team up, and then sell it. So definitely a good thing
I
there that Dynasty Owner put together.
I completely. It's just a new like vibe with fantasy football. It seems like it's just something new. So what got you started into Dynasty?
So really, it was that itch, man, from January through July of zero fantasy football. I've been playing redraft for about 7 years. The last 6 years that I was in the Army, that's what all my guys did, and we had our own team. But then it was just like September through December, and then everyone would just go away, and I was like, man, I still would hop on to ESPN, and I would start mock drafting from February, just to scratch an itch. And then it was last year that finally one of the buddies was like, hey, let's do this dynasty football. I had always heard of it, but never really understood it or see how it kind of made sense differently from redraft. But then when I started getting into it, and we put a league together. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. A lot of the guys ended up deploying, so it fell through. But in prepping for that team, I was on listening to Dynasty Nerds, and Dynasty Owner came up, and I was just like, hey, let me check that out. Since this league fell through, let me see what this Dynasty Owner thing is. And man, it's been, it scratched every itch, because it's more strategy, because even Dynasty without salaries is still, to my opinion, I think it's luck, to an extent, because you don't have to account for salaries, so you can just go all in and trade for like give up all your picks or something and stack your team. Something that I don't think you can really get away with here in Dynasty Owner, keeping track of salaries and ages and all that stuff.
No, you really can't, because after their rookie contract, they get this second deal, and if they're any good, it's massive. So you can't have a lot of those on your team at once, and that's what really kind of makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love the strategy part of it, and can't wait for this off season for the rookie draft. So it's like Dynasty Owner has it keeps you busy the entire off season. Key dates are always getting hit, and there's always every month is going to be something good to do. Then that 30 will be 36 days or 37 days of draft picks, 24-hour slow draft, 37 picks. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I can't wait for my first rookie draft. Make sure you guys are studying for that, by the way. It's gonna be, you better know what you're doing when you go into that one.
Yeah.
Last question, and we'll get into your orphan team here. It's, where do you usually start whenever you pick up an orphan team? Like, what's the first thing you do in this process?
So For example, I mean, what I did last night, I just started scanning through the teams, looked for, balance in each one of the positions, at least have room to work with and to where like, okay, they might have some, wide receiver threes or twos, but then at least one or two guys that I can trade and flip for something else, that I have some draft picks. That way I can, at least go in and do something with the team. So that's what I noticed last night. The ones I picked had at least the first and second round pick, and had at least one startable, one young wide receiver, one young running back.
Some nice building blocks.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I think one of them I got that was pretty stacked. Was lucky enough, but the rest of them are all projects. And like we talked about, before the stream, I'm in that salary cap loophole that I can't get out of until someone accepts a trade. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, what he's talking about here, he's got 144 million in cap space, but only 23 players on his roster, and is unable to pick up a free agent because he's over the cap. So right now he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place in that one.
Yeah, right. Because I have the 23 players and then only 2 picks for 2021.
Right.
And
I can't add any,
can't add any free agents because then I'm still over the cap. I put that out already in the group chat, and I'm getting the Sharks already trying to take because I think in that one I have the 1 or the 1-1 or the 1-3. So we'll see.
Yeah, thinking about it, just imagine how NFL GMs felt this year with their cap getting cut so drastically. I bet it was a nightmare for those guys.
Goodness.
We're trying to do it on here as a game, and that's their actual profession, and their lives are riding on it, and I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's get into your team here. All right, we got Prison Mike's crew. The first thing I want to talk about, you had mentioned a trade. If you want, go ahead and pull that trade up. We'll go through that first, and then we'll touch on the salary cap and stuff like that.
All right. So when I came on board, this was last week. So in this team, Matt the Jerk.
Matt the Jerk's in this league. That's right.
Yeah, Matt the Jerk, big spender with DD. Man, no one can outbid him on free agency. So you got to buy early, or else he's gonna take everybody. So okay, here's the trade. Up front, I'm a big DJ Moore fan. I really like Noah Fant as well. I believe in him. So the other person also bought that team. Just like I did. It was an orphan team, and he hit me up. And once I saw DJ Moore and Noah Fant, I knew I was like, I'm going to do anything it takes to get these guys. And he needed running backs, so I offered up CMC. Like I told you earlier, he's proven me wrong 3 years in a row because I'm always like, no, man, this is the year he's going to get hurt. There's just no way his body can keep up with it, and I mean, he has, last year, he got that injury. However, he's still a monster. However, with keeping the salaries in mind, he's in that second year. I mean, that first non-rookie contract. So 16 million, I just see it as too much. And, maybe I could have held on for him one more year and then sold high, but I saw it as like, no, I'm going to let go now. So I let go of Jordan Love, Christian McCaffrey, Cairo Santos, and then Hunter Henry. I just saw it all as I want to cut salary. I gave up my second round pick next year, and then my a second round pick this year, my 2-8, and then I ended up getting Sanders because I needed a cheap kicker, at least for one more year. Then I got Fant, Paris Campbell, who I got some hope on him more than Pittman, DJ Moore, and then I got his 2-4, next year's first, the 3-4, an amnesty provision, and then 7 dynasty dollars. Probably could have done a little better. Maybe flip my 1-8 for his 1-4. However, I'm still happy. He's happy. It worked out, and to me, those are the best trades when we everyone comes out.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I'll pull it back up.
Oh, you're right. What's funny about it is, if you were looking at this trade in redraft, you would probably say you got shafted. You know what I mean? But I actually like your side of the trade a lot in this because of the salaries. I typically do not like Hunter Henry. Like I don't think I've ever had him on one of my teams. It seems like he underachieves every year. And then going to New England, they haven't found a quarterback yet. They still got Cam, and they were horrible last year. So getting rid of that salary, I think, is a huge win. Same with Christian McCaffrey. If you're in a tough spot there, you got rid of a ton of salary, and then you got DJ Moore, a bunch of picks, and then Noah Fant coming back. If Paris Campbell can be healthy, I honestly think you won't do bad at all in this trade, especially with the extra first round pick and stuff you got there in 2022. Yeah, I don't mind it at all, honestly.
Yeah, no, and like I said, it's got then I had to take some dynasty dollars because of prepping for Matt, and then that amnesty to cut some more salaries. Because this one, when I came in, I was right at just a little bit over the cap, so I just needed to get under the cap. So I mean, I like it. I have like I said, good faith in DJ and Noah Fant this year. And I have I just forgot his name, Drew Lock, the quarterback.
Okay.
For Denver, this should be his year, hopefully.
I think Noah Fant's going to break out at some point within the next year or two. The kid's so talented.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this team here. What is your salary cap situation like? We'll start there. Are you under the cap at this point?
Oh, yeah. So I look pretty good on the cap right now. So right now I am at 108.
And you got Patrick Mahomes, huh?
Say again?
Was that Patrick Mahomes or?
No. This one has Josh Allen and Drew Lock, Trubisky, Mariota. That I'm knocking on wood. He'll get dropped and get somewhere on a cheap contract and end up starting.
The Raiders told Mariota if he doesn't take $3 million, they're cutting him.
Right. So exactly. So
right there.
Yeah. So I picked him up. He was on the waivers. I'm at 108. I do need some running back help. All I have is, Sony Michel, whatever that's, he just hasn't been able to break through, and then Cam will make it even harder, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Really, the only
team they like Harris a lot there in New England too.
Right. And then so all I have right now is just Jones and Gordon as far as running backs, and then Madison, Gallman, and see where he lands, and then P. Ryan. I inherited and he was already here. I've been debating on whether dropping him or not, just to see who wins out that backup position. Not sure if Gio will get cut or not.
They've been saying that for years. The guy just doesn't seem to give up. He's like the Frank Gore Jr., it seems like.
He is. Yeah. And he's produced when Mixon went down.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And then wide receivers. So I got Paris Campbell. I picked up Tyrell Williams, cheaper contract. There's really, I have Cephas in this one as well. So one of the two will have to do something. Someone's got to catch the ball other than Hawkinson, in my opinion. Then this one I have Amari Cooper, like I said, DJ Moore. Also, Terry McLaurin was on this team already. And then I got, I know we had talked before, I had Landry on this team, and I was just going to cut him. And then I ended up, one of the guys needed a wide receiver. Ended up, sending Landry for Marvin Jones and Trubisky. So I was like, okay, I'll pick up the backup to Josh Allen and then this cheaper contract with Marvin Jones. See how that works out.
There you go. That's not a bad idea, actually. It's better. Like I said, I was talking with Tim the other day. It's better than just dropping them and getting nothing. You know what I mean? At least you got something for it.
Yep. Yeah, and I got some DD on that one as well. So yeah, because this is in this league, that's the name of the game. I mean, I think dynasty dollars are worth more than draft picks. I mean, I won't share it, but there's some, really big. In my previous league that I was in, the average bid was like 2-3 million. I mean, in this one there is some insane bids. And then tight
Makes it
end
fun though,
wise,
right?
say again.
So it makes it fun though, right?
Oh man, well, I don't know if I'm going to spend that much money on dynasty dollars. My thing is, I'd rather trade for it. I want to keep keeps true to the game. So okay, if I run out of this money that I'm supposed to use to um, uh, pick up players, I'm not just going to go ahead and buy. I'm going to try to work within the league to keep a. I guess that's just my own thought process. I guess I could just go ahead and buy $100 worth of, but then I wouldn't. It would it would kind of dilute the the thought
The
process.
challenge for you a little bit.
Yeah. So, and then tight end wise, I feel pretty comfortable. I got Goddard. Once Ertz goes away, and hopefully they don't draft Pitts. So I have him on the block right now because I feel pretty good with Fant and Irv Smith, and then I got the juggernaut Parham. I don't think Jared Cook. I mean, Cook might do something. However, Parham showed some potential last year and cheap contract. I picked him up.
Especially in the red zone. That Herbert seems
Yeah,
to really like him in the red zone, and that's even if you just throw him on your bench and get a touchdown every other week, it's a couple points.
right. And then tight ends are just so hard to predict, other than those first 4 or 5 guys.
So, what's your opinion on bench scoring before we get in a little bit farther? Because I feel everybody has a little bit different of opinion on it. I kind of want it to be a little bit higher. I'd like it to have a little bit more of a value on your overall team because it requires way more depth.
Yes. Yeah. So I try to build my teams to where I can have basically 3 starting lineups. Essentially, that's what I did with the last one that I sold was, especially with the percentage going to 25. I really like it. Even when I was in redraft, I always tried to push that to my, to the commission. I wasn't the commissioner. However, I was like, man, I have like 8 players on my bench, and you can only start so much. However, you should get some credit for the guys on your bench. So, yeah, like I said, when I reviewed this last year, and I was like, man, this has everything that you can think about. So now with it going up 25%, that's going to make a big difference. Especially if you take care of starting each position and having not just a body in there, or just someone that's starting like a wide receiver 2 or 3 and a decent quarterback. That 25% will get you over the hump. I mean, I saw some guys win with the 20%. Now I can imagine with 25, it's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah, especially going for a chase for the ring or a championship in a league or something. Once you get down to them playoff weeks, it's really going to matter, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, with us being, the first, second year guys in the league, it'll probably be, there's a few of us that kind of take that into consideration. Others may not. However, the league will catch up, and 2 to 3 years from now, I can only imagine trading and things getting a lot more expensive and folks being harder on giving up a bench spot.
Yeah, I agree.
And then kickers, what I did was I had Santos. I try to go by the Steven Tassel's rule. 3 to 4 million. I went even lower than that. I had Santos at 3 million. He did really well last year in Chicago, I think. However, once I saw the opportunity of getting a cheaper kicker, I just traded for him. Someone dropped Joey Sly yesterday, and I really like Joey Sly. I know he gets dinged on a lot. However, his low kicking percentage was because he was missing 65 yarders, or all of them were like NFL records. So I give the kid a lot of credit. In the 850, you can't beat that.
And if they're bringing him back, they obviously like him in Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. So right now I'm at 30 players at that 108. Still need to make some moves, to bring in another running back. I got some guys out there, that are interested in making a trade. This league, so out of the 12 of us, there's maybe 3 or 4 that are active right now. Others, they've reached out and said, hey, we're just not, not checking out the league yet, waiting for draft season, or maybe they're just not used to this, this level of intensity of, because if you're in dynasty owner, I mean, I think we're all like addicts pretty much,
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, yeah, it's like everyone in there wants to be involved. Everyone, knows what they're doing. I would think. So some of the guys, I'm sure it's like overwhelming probably, that are just, trying it out and getting trades at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, or messages, hitting you up. So it's like I said, so yeah, there's only about 3 of us active right now, and I'm trying to make that, make a trade to hopefully make this team a contender. If I can, get a better wide receiver, I mean, a better running back for this spot right here, I think I can do pretty well. Maybe not. This isn't, I don't think, a chase for the ring yet, but it's a contender this year. Let me see. I'll show you my picks. Where is that at? Draft picks. So I have the 1-8, I have the 2-4, the 3-4, and then the 3-8. I'll probably try to trade, during draft days, try to flip some of these and then move into the second round.
Okay.
And we'll see who falls out down to the 1-8.
So now with your 1-8, are you expecting to take your running back that you're looking for there, or is that something you're going to try to trade for?
Let's see. So only if Javonte Williams makes it to the 1-8, he's probably the only, because Etienne and Najee Harris.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely be gone. I guess I should have worded that a little bit different. Are you planning on filling that running back spot before the draft, or are you going to wait until the draft?
Personally, maybe it's just because I'm still new to Dynasty. I'm a bird in the hand kind of guy, so I would give up my 1-8 for a sophomore running back or a someone else, because that's one thing I've noticed. There are guys that they just love draft picks.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one that to quickly get rid of it for of course, Akers or a Swift, and instead of taking the chance on Najee Harris or Etienne that are unknown still.
Yep, I agree completely.
Even Pitts, I think even Pitts, if Pitts fell to me at the 1-8, as much hype as they're giving him, I think, this is based on like listening to other guys and like the experts that I end up being like, what, that makes sense, because if I invest a 1-8 right now in Pitts, I don't think he'll produce, just because of the, statistics, like rookie tight ends, more than likely won't perform right away, depending on where he lands and all that stuff. That you could probably get him cheaper next year, or trade him, acquiring him during in season than a 1-8, because people, more than likely, I mean, of course he could blow up and do really well. However, the numbers show that, hey, tight ends might not. So he might end up disappointing, and someone will just, give him up for a running back or even a quarterback or something like that. So all that to say, yes, I'm willing to give up that 1-8. The only running back I would pick up is besides Najee or Etienne would be Javonte Williams. All the other ones that I've heard,
too late for you.
Yeah,
a little too early for you. I mean,
yeah, and I guess the grading that a lot of the expert guys are talking about, and I guess it's just not as deep as previous years. Wide receiver now is, from what I hear, is really deep. So, I'm perhaps might move back from the 1-8 to back into the second round or something, if like Bateman is still out there, and with Rondell Moore. There's quite a few guys that are um, uh, out there that can fall back instead of going for the big name that may not produce right away, or give up, or just trade for the known commodity, an Akers or a Swift, CEH or something like that.
And I really like that you brought up Pitts too, because it's, especially for rebuilding teams, I've been seeing a lot of these teams wanting Pitts, and it's tight ends are so hit or miss. You look at Hawkinson and Fant. Yeah, they're kind of starting to produce, and I actually think Fant's going to end up being better than Hawkinson once it's all said and done, just the way they've gone so far. But if you just look at how hyped they were coming out, and
right.
how long it's taken them to get there, that's not going to be any benefit to your team for a few years. Right. More than likely, there's always a chance he does blow up, but usually it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'll take the probability and let the other guy get Pitts and give me a known commodity and a second round pick.
Right. All right. Before we hop off here, I want to have you show me your the team that's in the salary cap, Al.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of go over that a little bit for everybody to get a good example of it.
Roger.
And then if there's one more team you want to go over real quick after that, we can too. We got, as long as you got time, I got time.
Yeah. No. Let me see. Nope. Didn't swap out yet. No. Okay, here it is. So let me go to the salary cap. So this is the team. I bought this one last night, and it had Mahomes and Carson Wentz. So I went ahead and amnestied Carson Wentz right away. The team had it was at 179 salary cap. So I dropped Carson Wentz, brought me down to 24 players. This team only has 2 picks, and I'm still $15 million or $16 million over the cap. And I dropped the tight end after that from Miami. He's about Shaheem. I think he's like $2 million. And then when I went to drop T.Y. Hilton, even though I was skeptical because he's still he's not going to get 13 million. Wherever he lands, will probably get half of that, I would think. So he's might be worth keeping. But then once I dropped them, I followed the rule, or maybe I misunderstood it when we were doing the live streaming where Tim was explaining that whatever your cap situation is, you can go under that cap, just not over it. So when I saw 179, I was like, okay, I'll drop Wentz. So that's well underneath that 179. So then when I went to go add the free agents to put me above the 23 players, then I kept getting the message that puts me over the 127. So I haven't written customer service. I figured we would bring that up here today, and maybe it is something like I said earlier is waiting for the Sharks to. I already put it out there. Hey, send me trades for a pick and take one of my 2 of my big salaries, and so I can get out of this cap situation.
I like that. You're like, you know what? I'm not even messaging customer service. I'm just going to trade my way out of this. I like it.
Yeah. So like I said, yeah, I mean, I like it's just back to that, that realism about it, and start, and staying within the, the rules of the game. So,
yeah, yeah, he can't call Roger Goodell and be like, hey, you got to fix this for me.
Yeah.
I like it. You do have some good building blocks on this team. I like Swift. I hate that they just signed Jamal Williams, but talent wins out. Swift's too good to not get the ball there, honestly. Did they bring back Peterson? I haven't seen
No,
anything on him.
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
It was what is Jamal Williams, Kerryon
Yeah.
Johnson's still there.
Yeah, he had one more year left. He doesn't. They didn't use him a whole lot last year, so I'm not too worried about him. But Jamal Williams is just he seemed underrated in Green Bay because he was behind Aaron Jones and underused, honestly. So it just worried me a little bit. But Swift's so
Right.
talented, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah. When that news came out, I didn't have this team yet, but then I was in in that other league. I was like, ooh, that maybe right now is a good time to buy Swift because that Swift owner is gonna get a little uneasy and be like, oh yeah, let me sell Swift because now he's in a timeshare.
Yeah, and see that's the thing with like the writers and everybody on Dynasty owners always saying if you guys just stay active and watch things like that, you're going to get things like Derek just mentioned. You can go out and get a DeAndre Swift cheaper because somebody's a little nervous because you were paying attention, honestly. Just little things like that are going to make a huge difference in the end.
Oh, absolutely. The other one that's on. Oh, so what's going to take me even further higher on the salary is once Chris Carson's kicks in, that's going to add another. I think he's at 5'2", 5'5".
I think 2 years, 12 million, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And then wide receiver wise, Jerry Jeudy, got a lot of mixed news about him. I thought he did really well in Alabama. Where I live down here, I mean, this is, you're either an Alabama fan or a Georgia fan. And, Jeudy was definitely loved down here.
He had a good second half of the year. I think he had a promising second half of the year last year and really started to kind of get his footing.
Yeah. What made me nervous was when, even Tim Patrick started taking some passes away from him, and that was without Sutton. So
right.
Sutton coming back, that's going to be I hear a lot of hype on Sutton, but then I'm curious how that's gonna who's gonna take over as that alpha, between the two of them.
Last season's off season was just so odd with them not getting to see a preseason or anything like that. So some of these players really I feel depend on that, and some of them don't need it. Like you look at Justin Jefferson, he excelled regardless. But somebody like Jeudy, maybe he did need a little bit of time to get acclimated and get going. Really.
Yeah, and I forgot about that. So that's absolutely right. I mean, we'll probably get surprised by a lot of these guys with an off season.
Yep.
Creatures
of habit, run a playbook, stuff like that.
Yeah, staying on the Alabama players, I was surprised when the Raiders took Ruggs. I was caught up. I honestly thought Jeudy was going to be the first one taken off last
year. Or CD Lamb. I thought I was shocked it was Ruggs. I didn't think. And then Rager surprised me too to Philly. I was not expecting him to go there either. I figured Jefferson would have went way before Rager.
Yeah.
It's weird how NFL teams view these players sometimes.
Yeah, and then when it comes to Dynasty, or at least how I since I'm just new to Dynasty, I try to follow, folks out there that, do analytics or the film grinders and stuff. First round draft capital gives them, skews the grading for players. And, Ruggs was one of those that threw off a lot of folks. Was his first round draft capital, did well at Alabama, but then just collapsed. Didn't
he did last year, it seemed like.
Yeah,
but he's got the speed. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a John Ross, but he's got the speed and the talent to produce. It's hard telling.
Right.
Hit or miss in the NFL.
Yeah.
Did you have another team you wanted to go over before we hop off?
No. Let's see. The other team. There is one. Since they're that's one thing I will ask is if we can, instead of making those team numbers, if we can just name our own league. Because put
it to a vote in the chat. Let's put it to a vote in the chat. Whatever they agree on, that's the name of the league.
Yeah, because it's I'm like, well, 4-5-1, 2-5-6. It's because I do have a squad on here that I bought that it's pretty stacked. It has, I think, Moore and McLaurin. I had Jefferson in one of them, but again, I'd be scrolling and probably wasting time here,
Oh,
by
that's
the
right.
time you find it. I'm honestly, so here's a situation where I'm probably going to sell high, and a lot of folks might disagree. Maybe I'm panicking, but Jonathan Taylor now with they kept Mac, they still have Naheem Hines. I don't know, man. As talented as he is, though, I mean that's 3 mouths to feed. That Mac was getting his fair share until, granted, it was what I think the first or second game, and that's when he pulled his Achilles, and he's trying to prove what he's got to get a decent deal probably after this one. But I don't know. Jonathan Taylor is he's one of the ones that someone could probably take advantage of now and trade just because of that. Naheem Hines and Mac, because I really like Mac and redraft. I was always a Mac believer, and he helped me win in what the last year, or the year before. No, yeah, the year before I had him and Chris Carson and did pretty well.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad tandem, but in 2019.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad you said something about the Taylor, because you're the first one I've talked to that is not like outrageously high on him. I personally am. I like him a lot. I just like the offensive line he's running behind and the talent that he has, personally. But I can agree with you in a sense. Like the Mac signing worried me quite a bit because they seem to really like him in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But I felt like the second half of last year kind of Taylor solidified himself a little bit, and then that Mac signing happened. So you're right. It's kind of up in the air a little bit, but I still think he's going to get his 200 or 250, maybe 275 touches. But Mac and Hines are going to get some work, and it is going to take away from Taylor's outlook.
At least Phillip Rivers isn't there anymore, because he's the dunk monster to any Hines or when he was with Eckler. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, unlike the Swift situation, this was the one that I'm still not. I mean, I'm not going to sell him cheap by any means. I've already got
it. Yeah, you're going to get quite a bit for him.
Yeah.
How do you feel here on Galladay? Are you going to keep him at his new deal? It's, from what I'm getting, it's 17 or 18 million a year or something like that.
Yeah, he's right at 18 million. I saw that on Spot Track.
I can't get mine. Hasn't updated for my team. I have him on one of my teams as well.
He's still oh my bad. He's still on his old deal. Dio hasn't updated. Spot Track has him at 18 million. I have Daniel Jones, so I kind of like the stack. I between him and Odell, I'll probably move Odell, to be honest. I'd keep the Galladay. I haven't really got dove deep into every single team. Like I said, I've had them within 8 hours because I was up until like 4 a.m. trying to organize this stuff. And I don't know. I'm not an Odell fan.
Me neither at all.
Yeah, he was my first. So I think his rookie season was my second year in redraft, and I just picked him off waivers, so I always remember him. However, just Brown's offense being run heavy. You still got Landry. They kept Higgins. They have Peoples-Jones doing well. Hooper, Harrison Bryant. I mean, that's I don't know if they can sustain. If it's going to be worth the $18 million, where Galladay, he'll be the alpha right away. And
there's nobody that's competing with him in terms of talent on the Giants.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna flip the tables a little bit. I got a question for you because I have Galladay on one of my rosters, and Amari Cooper is a free agent. Would you take the Galladay at 18 or Cooper at 20 with that coming back?
Man, see, Cooper's a tough one. A lot of people are down on him. With Dak coming back, I really like him because last year, those first 6 games with Dak, he was doing better than Lamb, if I'm not mistaken. And I would to answer your question, Amari Cooper's 26. I would keep Cooper because I think he'll produce with Dak, and they'll either restructure his deal somehow to where we'll save money on dynasty owner next year or something, or he'll get traded. And he's only 26. Kenny Galladay is already pushing 28. Granted, that's he's still in his prime. However, Daniel Jones is still he's still proving himself. They're getting all the weapons that he can get, and if he ends up proving us what he's done these past 2 years of just being so turnover prone, I'd go with the safer bet of Amari Cooper for the $2 million more and year and a half younger.
Yeah, and with Daniel Jones, I really feel like this year is you prove it now or you're gone.
Yeah.
You got you all this talent. Yeah, you have, especially if Saquon stays healthy. Then you really don't have any excuses. You had a good run game. I'm surprised they haven't re-signed Gallman yet, to be honest. But yeah, I agree with you there. I think I'm leaning towards Cooper definitely, just because the high power of the Cowboys offense when Dak's on the field. But
yeah. Kenny's a shiny object right now. He's popular. He got a new deal, so people will want probably Kenny G on their team. However, dynasty owner a little different, and hey, I'm sure everyone might have it, and that'd be interesting to see what everyone thinks. I know there's a lot of different, especially with Amari Cooper, a lot of different opinions with him.
Yeah. All right, I think that is all I got for this one. Any last words for everybody?
No, I've been really, appreciate you having me on here, Jay. It's been great talking.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man, it's been great talking to you these past few weeks on text and on Twitter. Great platform, and if you got folks out there that want to join, bring them in. There's plenty of teams that, if you don't want to wait for a draft, you can just go ahead and buy an orphan or a for sale by owner. And customer service, man. If you don't get Don, you'll get a G, you'll get Nick or Brad. It's amazing. So, Tim, Paul, and the whole crew. You guys have a great thing going on here, and this is just going to blow up. To be honest, I see this I made a quick comparison, but this buying and selling of teams and the exclusiveness of the platform. We might have a little NBA Top Shots kind of moment here with Dynasty Owner, with not only so many accounts available and folks seeing real teams, real players, real salaries. Hey, it'll definitely draw more folks.
I agree, and that's something I try to preach quite a bit, and I'm sure it looks like I'm biased because I write for them, but I write for these guys because I really love the game, and it's just so much fun, and it really is a year-round experience. You might get a week off maybe if you're lucky throughout the year, and that's never at once, but if you find a really good league here, like it seems Derek has found one or two of them already, it's just very active. The guys in the league are awesome to talk to, and they're always engaging. And that's what really, really makes this different than everything else. But that's all we got for today. Derek, thank you, man, for joining. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Definitely stay in touch, man.
We'll do. Looking forward to you joining that startup I got in. And Matt's joining, and we'll see how competitive that gets.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And then also we got a father-son league or mother-daughter, whatever, anybody that wants to join it. I got a few spots left. If you guys are interested, just get a hold of me on Twitter. Derek and his boy will be in there as well. My son will be in, I believe, Steve Van Tassel. I think he said he was going to join, if I remember correctly. And then there's one other parent or father-son combo that we have. So we need a couple more. But if you guys are interested, just get a hold of me on Twitter. Derek, thank you for your service, brother. I never got to tell you that. Kind of want to tell you in person. But all right, buddy, you have a good day, and thank you for stopping.
All right, see you guys.